Hey you guys, Stockton here from Better Than Data. And what we do over at Better Than Data is help agencies and consultants make data their superpower. So if you've ever been working with a client and they have asked you the question of, hey, what's working and what's not? Or if you're fielding sales calls and the client says to you, hey, we want to know what's working and what's not, then you need Better Than Data, because we will teach you the entire thing from A to Z, from how to strategize the data collection pieces, how to transform that data to make it usable, how to visualize it inside of Looker Studio, how to communicate the value that you're providing to your clients, and even provide tons of templates, useful goodies, downloads, tips and tricks, as well as a awesome, vibrant community where we are in there every single day answering people's questions. So if you want to get started and you want to check out just some of the free stuff that we have, go to this link somewhere around you here, and what you will see is a page like this where we have our own sort of link tree thing and just little tip and trick of the trade. Once you download one free thing, you get all the free stuff. So choose what you want the free thing to be, and we'll use that for your attribution. We'll say, hey, this person was interested in this, and we can use that for our own performance. But come to this page, find your free account that you want, download the cheat sheet, whatever it is, start coming in. It's a great way to engage, come into our world. And if you want newsletter updates and just see what we got going on, then go to this link. All right. So with that, today, what we are going to do is strategize a little bit of one of the questions we get asked a lot, which is, how do you track conversions on things like form submissions? Okay, so if we open up a little new whiteboard here, so let's visualize what it is that we're going to be going over, how to track like form submissions and form conversions effectively. So what happens is you got your traffic source, and the traffic source will come and it will land on your landing page. On the landing page, you'll have a little form. So you have your form fields, and you got a little nice button, and then they redirect to another page. So this could be your thank you page. After this, they could go on to other things like checkout pages, order pages, whatever, right? Like this is your tripwire, you're not your tripwire, your lead magnet, so to speak, where they are completing a form and you want to track the conversions. So there's a few ways to actually do this. The recommended way, the more advanced way of doing this, is to track the form submission directly on this page itself. Or in other words, directly on the page where the form is actually submitted. That's probably the harder way to do it. It's a little bit more advanced because tracking form submissions can be a little bit tricky. The more simple way, and what we see most people getting started with, which no problem doing this, like this is a good enough to get going method of tracking conversions and form submissions, and I'll even show you one way to level this up, is to track the lead on this page. So you actually track it on the thank you page. So once they land on that page, then you can use the page view as like a trigger to fire your lead event. And then once you've built that trigger, you can reuse it for any of your different marketing channels. So you want to fire a Facebook lead event tag on that page view. You want to fire a Google Ads conversion. You want to fire a GA4 event. You can fire all of those on the exact same trigger. So the key is measuring that trigger or setting up that trigger to track these different interactions. Taking a look at how we can track conversions on something like a thank you page. So we're going to come over here to our thing, and I'm going to connect Google Tag Manager, and this should open up our lead test page. Okay, so here we are. Here is the landing page. Let's say we've got some ads that just came to this page, and so we want them to opt into our little ebook, right? And in this case, we're using Convertbox, just a default form that it comes with. So if we visualize this, what's happening is if we hit download now, then what it's going to do is redirect, right? So we've got the form that was submitted, then it redirects to the thank you page. We're going to say, you rock, you must have done something awesome, right? To land here because you downloaded our cool thing. Actually, for you, go to the cheat sheet, download it, and follow along this exact same process. All right, so what can we do? The simple form is we can just target this URL and create a trigger. So let's take a look at an example of that. What we're going to do is go to triggers. We're going to come down to triggers. We're going to hit new, trigger configuration. We're going to choose page view. We're going to choose some page views where the page path equals something, right? So what do we put here? We can go see that inside of debug mode here. So if we click on the page view event, which is container loaded, if we click on container loaded and we look under variables, we'll be able to see what the page path is at this event in time, the page view event in time. So we're going to come down, we're going to choose page path, and it's /urock/. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to copy that. We're going to come over here, page path equals /urock/. So we're going to come here, we're going to call this page view urock page. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. So now we've created the trigger, right? So what this means is we can have an identifier. We have a trigger now on this thank you page. Whenever that thank you page loads, we can fire our events. Let's fire a Facebook lead event on that page. So we'll go new, choose tag configuration. We'll go custom HTML. We're going to old school this with some custom script here. So it's FBQ track lead. And there we go. That should track a Facebook lead event on the trigger. So what do we need to do? Actually, probably spell things right, first of all. So script, there we go, track, lead. The trigger is gonna be that new one we just created. So it's gonna be our page view trigger, page view for You Rock. So then we're gonna say Facebook lead. This is gonna be our You Rock page. So we have a nice little identifier there. So we're gonna, one more thing is I'm gonna do some tag sequencing once per page, just to make sure it doesn't fire more than once. And then we're gonna make sure the base Facebook tag fires first. So we'll go Facebook, I guess it is page view. Okay, so we'll hit save. So let's re-preview this and be able to see what happened with our work. So go lead test. Okay, we can close these other tabs down. So we're gonna land on the lead test page, and then we're gonna submit the form and go to the You Rock page. So far, we don't have our pixel helper installed yet, but okay, we'll be able to see the tag. So we submit the form. Now we're on our You Rock page. So if we come back, we want to go to the page view event. So here on page view, we have all of these tags fired. So we got the GA4 config, we've got conversion linker, we got the GA4 page view, Facebook page view, and then here we have our Facebook lead event that fired. So we're now tracking leads on this page view. So why is this? So like there we're done, right? Like that's good enough to get going. Why is this bad? Well, potentially people can just reload the page, right? So if I just reload the page, now I've tracked another lead. So my lead count could potentially be inflated. So you've got something really valuable. You've got some download, you got a checklist, you got some video, people will come back to it, they'll bookmark it. So then they'll revisit this page multiple times. And every time they visit this page, because the trigger is based on the URL, it'll fire that event again. So let's up-level this one way, right? How can we up-level this to be just a little bit better? Well, one thing we can do is actually come back and look at the first one. So we reloaded, so not this one, but on this guy. If we go and look at container loaded and we look under variables, let's find the refer variable here inside of GTM. So we'll find this. Okay, so here it is. So we've got the refer. The refer means the page I just came from. So we can use this as an additional condition in that trigger to say, hey, the page path has to be this, but also they have to have come from this page, right? So only count them as a lead if they came from the previous page and then landed on this page. So that way, if they bookmark it, they reload, it won't count. In fact, what we should see, because we did do a reload, is if we come up here to the reloaded page, what happens to that page refer? Actually, it didn't change. So there's nuances, right? So this method would help if they bookmark it and come back, but if they just reload the page, it doesn't solve the problem. So let's add that in as a initial condition, and then we can continue to kind of up-level this. So we'll say the refer has to contain the previous page that we want it to contain. So let's come back. We're going to find our You Rock trigger here. We're actually going to go down and modify the page view actual event. So page path equals this. And we're also going to say that the page refer, so here we have refer, needs to contain lead test. So only fire this event if they came from lead test. So that's one way to up-level this. So we can come back and we can preview that. In fact, let's do a preview. Let me exit the preview before it gets going. Let's go right to that page, right? So here we go. We're gonna go right to the You Rock page and see if the lead tag did indeed fire. Okay, so here we are on the You Rock page. And if we go and look in our tags, we look on the summary for that page. Do we see our Facebook lead tag fire? No, we do not. Can we see it down here? Facebook somewhere. When in doubt, search it out. Facebook lead. Okay, here it is. So it's under the not fired. And why did the event not fire? Because this condition was not met. So we've now added an additional condition to make that better. Now, one more thing, because we saw that it on reloads, it still was firing. So if they were on that page and they just reload the page, it'll still fire. So there's more things we can do about that. I'll link to a video below where we go over custom JavaScript to detect reloads. And then you can use that as an additional trigger to block that from happening. So totally fine. Like this is a good enough method to get going with some nuances, right? The better method, or the more advanced method, is actually tracking the form, the lead, tracking the form submission and firing your tag, like a lead tag, on the actual page when the form is submitted. And the reason this is more advanced, because form submissions are notoriously difficult. Every form tool is a little bit different, and some of them just don't behave the same as each other, right? Some of them use Ajax or HTML5 forms or custom forms that do other things. So lots of different methods. However, let us go and explore one way to do it if your form tool kind of cooperates with you. So instead of our UROC page, let's go back to our lead test page. And because we're using a tool called Convertbox, it makes it pretty easy to do this. What you'll see is when I do submit the form, in fact, now that we've made the change, we should see that on this page, the container loaded, we have our Facebook lead, we do, so it worked. So that is working as expected, but you'll notice on the previous page, so on that lead test page, we have some events right at the very end that are helping us identify when the form was actually submitted. So what I would actually want to do is use one of these triggers to fire it on this same page. So it's still on that same page. It's one of the last events that happen before it redirects, but we have a Convertbox does an event for you, which is called Convertbox, and they have this action called leads. So you could say if the event name is Convertbox and the Convertbox action equals leads, then you can fire your event. The other thing is just an actual form submit trigger that you can set up. Luckily, in this case, native GTM functionality was able to detect this form submission from Convertbox. That doesn't always happen. So you kind of have to play with your form tool to say like what capabilities does it have in terms of pushing events into the data layer. So what we can do here is come and look at our Convertbox events with a Convertbox action of leads, and then use that as an additional trigger. Let's see if we have Convertbox action as a data layer variable already. So let's go Convertbox action. We do indeed. We can use these two triggers in that condition here. So let's build just a new trigger. So this is going to be a custom event. So custom event for Convertbox leads. And we could even specify the exact lead form that we wanted. That is available Convertbox label right here. So we could look at the name and use that as a condition as well. For now, we're just going to use our custom event. The event name is going to be Convertbox. I believe it's with a capital B as well, Convertbox. Yep. And then we're going to say some custom events where we still want to on that page. So page path equals leads test, right? So that should match. Let's see. Oh, let's go back. Lead test, so singular, not leads. And the Convertbox alphabetical, go up to the C's. Oh, it's a DLV, so still alphabetical, just looking in the wrong spot. Okay, so DLV Convertbox action equals, what does it equal? Oops, look right here. Convertbox action equals capital L leads, and there we go. And we can say lead test. So very specific, we know it is a Convertbox leads event on that particular page. So now when we hit preview, and we submit the form on that page, we should be able to see that on that event that was already there, we are firing our lead tag, our Facebook lead. Okay, so we don't see it yet. Let's come back. Let's go ahead and just hit download. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Now what we should see is on this event here, Convertbox, with a Convertbox action of leads, we should see our Facebook thing. So what did we do wrong? Okay, a little troubleshooting here. Let's see. Facebook lead, UROC. Oh, we didn't. Okay, so we made the trigger, but we didn't assign it to the tag. Rookie mistake. Let's go do that. So Facebook, we've got our Facebook lead on the UROC page. We're going to keep all of that the same. The only thing we're going to do is add on the new trigger. So Convertbox leads test. Okay, now we'll re-preview it and hopefully it will work. All right, so we'll hit download. We come and look in the data layer. We have our Convertbox submission here, and here we have our lead event telling us that we sent the event properly on that trigger. Of course, it's still going to go here as well, so we have it twice. We'd want to, choose one or the other, but that is how you can actually track the, a form submission or a conversion on that event with a few different methods. So the best method being track it on the form itself, depending on your form tool and the capabilities of it in terms of pushing data into the data layer. The next best is to track it on the actual thank you page. And then there's two methods we used. Well, I only showed you one, but there's two you can do to kind of level that up and make it better. One is to add the refer as a condition. And the second one is to check for the page reload. And that is in the other YouTube we've done, and I'll link to that in the description as well. So there you have it.